Based on the book of the same name by Kevin Kwan, the film followed Rachel Chu, Constance Wu, as she discovers that her boyfriend Nick Young's, Henry Golding, family is extremely wealthy while traveling with him to Singapore for a wedding. Upon its 2018 premiere, the movie became the most successful rom-com in a decade and paved the way for more representation in Hollywood with its predominantly Asian cast. Given the movie's massive success, post-credit scene tease, and Kwan's sequel books, a second installment seemed out of the question. However, the follow-up film has been hit with several development delays. The Crazy Rich Asians team originally planned to film the second and third movies back-to-back in 2020 to accommodate the limited availability of its stars. However, due to the global coronavirus pandemic and other setbacks, the project went on hiatus. Director John M. Chu, for his part, went on to work on film adaptations of In the Heights and Wicked. Scroll down for everything we know about the potential Crazy Rich Asians sequel. The sequel's original screenwriter, Adele Lim, left the project in 2019 due to pay disparity. At the time, Lim claimed to The Hollywood Reporter that co-writer Peter Chiarelli received a significantly higher fee in comparison to her own. Chiarelli's offer allegedly ranged from $800,000 to $1 million, while Lim was offered a measly $110,000. Chiarelli reportedly volunteered to split his earnings with Lim, but she passed. Pete has been nothing but incredibly gracious, but what I make shouldn't be dependent on the generosity of the white guy writer, she told the outlet. If I couldn't get pay equity after CRA, I can't imagine what it would be like for anyone else, given that the standard for how much you're worth is having established quotes from previous movies, which women of color would never have been hired for. There's no realistic way to achieve true equity that way. No casting has been confirmed, but it is likely stars such as Wu, Golding, Michelle Yeoh, Awkwafina, Gemma Chan, Ken Jeong, Lisa Liu, and Harry Shum Jr. would reprise their roles. However, Chu told Deadline in November 2024 that he won't bring everyone back for a Crazy Rich Asians sequel unless it's worth it, adding, "There's too much on the line for everybody." Noting that the bar is too high, Chu continued, "I want the best thing. I want it to be worthy of what Crazy Rich Asians 1 was. We've tried all different versions. It's hard because people think the first movie is like the book, but it actually is not. It's the right spirit, but the plotting is very different. And so, you can't just go and translate. And we've tried versions, and the fact is that we just haven't gotten there." At the end of the first film, fans got a little taste of what to expect from the next movie in a post-credit scene. Astrid Young, Chan, was reunited with her ex-fiancé, Charlie Woo Shum Jr., which serves as a main plot point in the second novel. Since the first film practically mirrored the novel, the sequel is likely to stay just as true to Kwan's story. The second of Kwan's books introduces several new faces, from Rachel's estranged father to her brother, Carlton Bao. Readers also met fashion blogger Colette Bing and her assistant, Roxanne Ma. There any Crazy Rich Asians spin-offs in the works? Deadline reported in May 2022 that Warner Brothers is in the early stages of developing a potential sequel film starring Astrid, Chan, and Charlie Shum Jr. after their Crazy Rich Asians post-credit scene reunion. The project is set to be written by Jason Kim. Kwan's second and third novel in the franchise, China Rich Girlfriend and Rich People Problems, highlight the twosomes' budding romance, though further details about the unconfirmed project have yet to be revealed. In April 2024, news broke that Crazy Rich Asians would be turned into a Broadway musical with Chu set to direct the stage adaptation. HBO is also reportedly working on a Crazy Rich Asians TV show. They're working on it. Wu teased of a sequel script during a June 2022 appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. She also added that movie will be released when we finish them. That's the number one question I get asked, and people are just so excited. They want it so bad, Shum Jr. told E! News at the Oscars in March 2023. "I know they're just trying to get it right. Because, when you make a sequel sometimes it's so sped up and you do it so quickly and you don't get the story right. They're just really trying to get it right so they can give the fans what they want. I've heard that we're doing a sequel and it's in the works and it's going to be on HBO," Chris Pang, who played Colin Koo, teased during a June 2026 appearance on Good Morning America. "They're doing it now. According to Ping, the Crazy Rich Asians sequel series will follow all the characters that we've met and learned to love from the first movie. It's going to continue that story, and we get to explore it as a series, he said on GMA. I think it's a great format for it.